on. Here we go. Here we go. Let's get rid of that. Look. Oh no, I gotta finish. I gotta finish this list. Oh, where I put it? No, that's not it. There we go. There we go. Grab a chair, sit down. Ren.
Not the castle. Nothing there. Not like that, but
That camera mat tilt is really annoying me.
Same. It's a nice frame, so it shouldn't be bad.
I don't have power of that. It's beyond the realms of my control.
Is the timer supposed to have started?
Yep. Here we go.
And we got live mics, fantastic. And here we go, we have the final of the World Cup number 5 it is, I think?
Yeah, number 5, the kiddies pool in the side event, the side cup of the summer advanced lane.
Yeah, they've got the World Cup, so for everyone who didn't make the top 16 yesterday, come in and able to play in the World Cup, which is one of the best events organised in Sydney for X-Wing. Probably only rivaled by the Summer Slam the day before.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But, you know, we're looking at two people here. One is not Brad Scott.
Yeah, one is in fact
John Haines on the right there. And on the left we have Vernon and Lorenzo. Both of these guys are Sydney locals.
Yeah.
From the northern area of Sydney.
Yeah. Rich cunts. I mean,
not that far forward.
Yeah. But so we got John Haines running a very wholesome list. You know, just two row
your Kylo boat. You know.
Yeah. And then we've got Vernon Lorenzo just running it's one of the most degenerate lists in the game.
It's not that bad.
It doesn't have Fen around. I'll give him that. It doesn't have Fen.
Have Ezra.
Has Ezra, but no Fen around, so I'll give him that.
Strezra's stupid. It's like, oh, you're going to shoot me?
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No,
I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to take a stress.
But the thing I like about this Strezra is he's got
a score to settle.
He's got a score to settle and a pulse rate shield, so he has just nominated someone for crits.
Oh, crap,
and then you come back, and Ezra's like, he's playing Rebels, and let's be honest, we all know Rebels, they have one move on their dial.
One straight.
One forwards.
But he doesn't have more. Why? Breaks the theme, man. Breaks the theme and breaks my heart. What's R3A? What's R3A2?
We have a stress bot, so he fires, and he's got the choice to be able to give out a stress, but he also has to take a stress, which for Ezra, that triggers his ability, which is on defense, he's able to flip up to 2 of his eyes, 2 evades automatically. So two eyes, 3 evades on an 8-sided dice, which means when he's stressed, both dice have a 5 and 8 chance of rolling evades. And he's often rolling 3 at range. At range 3, he's rolling 3 of them.
Here we got the pattern. Was it Morgan doing this at Queensland Regionals?
Yeah, look, I play locally with John.
Yeah.
And John happened to find this this wonderful fortressing technique, which I just blatantly ripped off Morgan Reed. So John ripped it off me, and he's improved it into his own technique. But I ripped this off Morgan Reed, and it just gives you ability to work out where everyone's going to go. So point them at each other, one forwards, bump, oh dear. And now we know where we need to go, because you don't need to go anywhere with these guys to start with.
So, interestingly, we've got prime thrusters on Kylo.
We don't. That is not prime thrusters.
It's not prime thrusters?
No, and I'm just trying to work out how to modify it.
I don't know. To be
that's meant to be
optics?
Advanced optics.
Not on here.
Not on here.
No.
Really?
That is a prime thrusters Kylo Ren.
Thrusters on Kylo, alright.
The reasoning behind prime thrusters Kylo Ren is so you can reposition after you push the limit. Fair game. It does increase Kylo's maneuverability.
Okay, these are prime thrusters. That's not what he was playing on Thursday.
True. Yeah, he might just want something different. So 52, 46.
It's an effort for a bid.
So what? So 2%?
As you guys can
It's a 1 point bid over the mirror match, a K2. It's a K2 mirror match. It's exactly the same. The K2 is exactly the same thing, but instead of prime thrusters, you're running advanced optics. Problem is you're both sitting at 99, and luck of who goes first comes down to the luck of the draw. So
that's the big
98,
of it,
you've got a chance at bidding against people, and it is the hotness at the moment. Lots of people are playing it. It's a fun list to fly.
Bid wars.
Yeah, I fly it. I was flying a shitty version of it, and then like an hour ago, you're like, no, just play the good version, and you'll win games. And don't fly Kylo crap, and you win games. You take the title, and you win games.
It's funny like that. I mean, look. At this point, you've got highly optimized lists. You've got to pick whether you want to bid or whether you're going to chance it.
Yeah. I think
For
maybe there's enough,
Masters,
I think is there enough VI that the bid is less important than keeping that
about the
focus
VI.
economy?
It's more about the mirror match. Because Kylo at 9 doesn't really care about other people who fly at 11. Kylo at 9 cares about other Kylos at 9.
Or other
because with advanced optics, I can put myself wherever you
people are
want.
flying at 11 because Kylo flies at 9.
Doesn't matter. I prefer to fly Kylo at 9 against. I'm happy to fly Kylo at 9 against things at 11. That's not an issue.
Yeah,
See,
Absolutely. He can place himself wherever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants. And the only time it goes bad is if you screw up.
the thing that's good
true.
about advanced optics, Kylo, is you aren't as reliant on performing that focus action.
Well, you just hold it there.
You hold it. But the thing about prime thrusters, Kylo,
Oh, that was nice and close, but well judged there.
Yeah, that was all skill.
No luck.
Absolutely no luck there at all.
No, John's a good player. He would have, if he set that rock up, he would have set it up with reason.
Yeah. He probably knows if he sets up this far, the rock has to be this far up. And I imagine that would be the first rock you'd set up in that case.
I didn't see how it was set up, so I'm not sure.
Haven't. I would just assume if he's been
if
deliberate,
that's
it would probably be
if
the
it was
first one.
deliberate, probably.
So you're saying if I ever play him, just do it exactly like range 2, so you can't do this crap?
So I mean, that's the thing. That's the joy of that fortress is that it doesn't matter.
that's the thing.
Because you go too hard around and then you go past on either side.
Yeah.
Well, he can. The thing is, he'll probably take initiative if he wants the fortress.
And not just that, is you are allowed to slam onto a rock.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's a maneuver.
It's a maneuver.
And you're also allowed to slam off the board.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
Someone has done it.
No, you gotta get
against me.
next
I've
level.
slammed
You
off
have
the board.
to lightning reflexes off the slam move.
What was that? Sorry?
Lightning reflexes off the slam move.
Don't take the stress.
And then you don't gain the stress because, well, you can argue that you don't gain the stress because it's after the check pilot stress step.
I'd have to check that. Don't.
I mean, it's a dumb ruling. I
Don't
would
do that to me now.
I would never insist it being played that way because it's dumb. But just the whole idea, I can go like, oh, I'm gonna go 3 forward, 3 bank, turn around and shoot you in the plum. No, it's great. So we got still slow rolling a bit here. Kylo's like kind of drifted off to the side, get that good angle. I think the boat's probably just gonna come. We're gonna have one go through the rock, one go around the rock.
Well, we could see 3 bank from the one on the right.
I mean, John's in no rush here because if he rushes in and gets the engagement wrong, these are only 7 health ships, 3 hull.
Yeah.
Sorry, 3 shield, 4 hull,
Yeah.
and 2 dice defense. They can die to 2 bad rolls.
Yeah.
So you've got to be careful about your opening engagement. But you get that opening engagement correct, and fire 2 harpoons into something like a ghost with no defensive dice.
Yep.
It can do a lot of damage.
You just chuck, Kanan can be like, oh, 3 attack dice, I'm helping.
What's your thoughts about the castle?
I think it's cool.
I think it's brilliant because John ripped it off me. But I ripped it off Morgan Reed, so I'm not claiming that's mine.
So we're just like...
No, John's improved it. It's a nice castle. As I said, it gives you that control over the initial state. It lets you see where somebody else is going, and then you can choose which one of your ships goes, because you can break the castle in a way that only one of your ships moves, because they're the same pilot skill ability. So if you want to run away, you can mean the one that's facing in stays still, and then you run away with the other and allow it to bring them around in a turn. And so you have 2 boats that are separate away from each other, going down the same direction. Or if you want to go the other way, you can do the same thing. Or if you want to go straight down the board, they can both 2 hard together around that initial rock that's set up.
It was a good bit as well. When he had the castle, he had it exactly so that if he did the too hard to turn around, he just fell short of that.
Yes.
We don't know whether that was the
We don't know if it was
first rock or
intentional,
not,
but we're going to assume it was, give him the benefit of the doubt.
benefit of the doubt.
Well, the way you measure distance,
Look, it comes down to, and I'm taking no credit for this, the genius of someone like Morgan Reed. You know, looking at that and just going, wait a minute, I've got control over the board state at this point. I can set up at 4 and it doesn't matter. Because I mean, he's done that for years with his shuttle and other ships. He's been able to go, right, I'm going to set up here and I'm not going to move until you've indicated where you're going.
Yeah. Do you think Vernon here should just be slow, pacing it down and just building up a massive ray bank?
Ray banks are an interesting one. I personally think that once you hit 3, it's enough. Because the Ghost is either going to be fine because it can still take focuses, or it's going to be dead.
I just
So I'd go
something
with
to
3.
point out. I just noticed it's fire control, not accuracy corrector. On
Yeah,
the
it's for FCS, so he needs rays.
You see, he has Finn.
Yeah, but even then, it's fire control means he's got more action economy because it allows him. He doesn't need to worry about target locks. He can take focuses every time. He moves into range, and he's got the choice of do I take a focus or do I take an evade, and he's got Ezra, which is allows him to. Ezra will at most try and get 1 stress at a time. So Ezra will do a green 1 forwards like Rebels do, clear the stress, and be able to give Kanan both the focus and the evade, and then be able to raid.
Yeah,
So
but the
you've got-
counterpoint then would be against like the boats and Kylo. You can go, my tilt is getting 2 hits or it's getting 3 hits.
Oh, you don't worry about TLCs. You just let those dice roll. They don't matter. The only ones you really modify are the primaries.
Yeah,
And you
sure.
use FCS to modify one of them. If you're spending focuses to modify TLTs, unless it's for a kill shot on Kanan with Ray, you're probably wasting your rays. You
Yeah.
spend rays up to the one where you can bank it away.
Yeah,
So John's win condition here is he's got to kill Fan, half Myrick. And
No, it's not Fan, it's Ezra.
Ezra, sorry, he's got to kill Ezra. He's got to get Kanan down to half and leg it. With Kylo.
And he has to keep Kylo alive. That is his win condition.
Yeah, but yes, that is his win condition. I mean, the thing is here is that what John really wants to make sure is that his engagement is at range 3.
Yes, all the time, as many times as he can.
That the triple harpoons into Kanan at range 3, your dice is never as accurate as dropping a dice from attack. So a 4 dice with a 1 defies defense is worse than a 3 dice with 0. So that's I'm talking about for the Ghost. So John wants to be at range 3. He wants to have full modifications. He wants to drop the harpoons into the Ghost because at the moment, where's Ezra? Right next to him, and he can get that 2 free splash damage and the 2 face down damage cards into Kanan now,
easy.
as well as because the thing is a harpoon is free damage sitting there waiting for a crit.
Yeah.
To go through, and on a Ghost when you're not rolling very defensive dice, it's
brutal.
pretty brutal. You're looking tired, Robbie.
I'm knackered.
Understandable, mate.
So we got one of the boats is turning in.
See how for a while. Yeah, look, I think the thing is
Take the focus, fair.
you just need to sit there with the harpoons and
Just threaten them.
sorry, Adam.
That's right.
You just need to sit there with the focus tokens, and you're just going. You come into my range 3, and you know what's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
Range 3, you just go.
You can't delete, but
So yeah, and Vernon here has gone in. He's going to block.
I'm not coming in.
See, the Ghost here has divided his attention to Kylo to scare him away.
Tamin's at home talking itself.
Yeah, he's bumped on purpose. He doesn't care.
100%. Like you saw, one bank in, he raid the he coordinated a focus over to the Ghost, and just went.
John here just needs to do 1 straight on those 2 legs.
John's got to be really careful about the next move because that Ghost can shift.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Vernon's going to try and get as close as he can to stop the harpoon by
I want
range,
to remind him
but I don't
that
think he
was
can do it.
on that boat. It's a score settle.
What is it? Oh, score settle.
He just hasn't read the token up.
Wow, score settle on one of the boats, not Kylo. Interesting. I wouldn't have done that.
I think Vernon is trying to nuke
He's trying to
gunboats
nuke
off
Yeah,
and then make Kylo chase Kanan.
it's possible, but also Vernon here has put himself in an interesting position. He has no shots, so he can't trigger R3A2, so Ezra is no longer stressed. And I don't know, but that is looking mighty close to a range 3 shot.
Ezra's got no target locks on him.
Ezra has no tokens, and it's
Just
just out. Oh,
Okay.
I thought she was out, so she's. I think Vernon's going to try and get close for to avoid the double harpoons, but I don't think he can do it.
Problem is that
John just does 2 1s here, and I think
John's got a choice here. John can
but
go into
Vernon's
both
gonna-
Kanan or into Ezra. And the thing is if Kanan puts himself in a place where it's only 1 harpoon and Ezra puts himself in 2, you go into Ezra. Even if he's stressed, he's still only rolling 2 dice, which means that you're likely still getting 2 damage through, harpoon through in addition. If you can get 2 full, and that's assuming that Vernon doesn't roll any blanks.
so. Yeah, it's interesting
It's a tough matchup for both players.
because Vernon's list is praying to shut down people with stress. This list doesn't really care too much about it.
You got your focus before that stress,
And also-
and who are you willing to put in a situation where you can't coordinate with your
You've
stress?
you've long range scanned.
The thing that's good about the
He's got dead eyes. He doesn't care.
The thing that's good about the prime thrusters is that if he gets double stressed and he still has pushed, he can still boost and barrel.
You can actually, because as long as prime thrusters is up to 3 stress,
Yes.
up to 3 stress, you can get your initial action and you can push off that regardless.
Yes.
So you can barrel roll, focus. You get an extra stress there. But
Oh my god, I hadn't thought of that. That's so dumb.
Yep.
But it's so good.
It's so good, but it also
That's
leaves
so
you with
dumb.
it also leads you with a triple stress
Yeah.
pilot. So
That's
you need
true.
to be confident in your next 3 or 4 maneuvers are going to get you places. But it is a clutch maneuver that is there and it's usable. I've seen it done. I personally don't. I played Prime Thrusters version once. It's not my thing. I like just the ability to go, oh look, I have a target lock and a focus and I can boost and I can barrel roll.
Yeah.
And I have title. It's just a wonderful sequence. And I'm like 47 points.
Yeah, not.
Dice thing, but
And also he's 46, so.
But it doesn't actually matter because of the bid. Because the thing is if you take if you take this match against the typical K2, you're running 98 versus 99. Let's say you both destroy each other's boats.
yep.
At that stage, you've actually only destroyed 52 points each.
Yeah.
So you're still tied. So the fact that you drop Kylo to 46 here instead of being 47 actually doesn't affect your bid at all. It doesn't affect your end game because both Kylos are still worth 48 total on the mirror.
On the mirror, yeah.
Well, either way, is if Kylo's the last on the board, they've still only destroyed 52.
Another one forward, focus for Jedi.
He's doing the 1. I think Vernon's going to do a soft 3 or a 5 straight, something to really put him.
He's going to 1 bank on that. He's going to then coordinate in the...
hard
Oh,
in.
too hard. I did not expect that.
That'll be,
That won't be on the rock, they'll be very close though.
Yeah, he's good.
So no stress on that.
1 straight on the ghost. One bank.
Probably coordinate something onto the ghost.
Depends on how he treats the ghost. Does he want to get the primary shots in or just rely on TLTs? He's up for a risky shot there because the thing is he can't bank into the right without landing himself in prime range 2 position.
Yeah.
And even with a ray, he could coordinate a focus, which would give him 2.
Coordinating the target lock.
Well, let's
But he's put the target locked out.
He wasn't in range.
He wasn't in.
Oh, was he corner to corner? That didn't look like corner to corner to me.
I think it was just
Okay, looked close. Is all
he
I'm
went,
saying.
and he went for the top boat as well.
That's what I mean. Is that?
I think the boat on the right might be in.
Oh, Boatman Raid's definitely in. No questions about that one.
Depends on what Vernon wants
I want to
to
see
do.
what the third style is. The 3 softest block now.
Question is that. Wait a second. I just.
Yep.
Guys, was that a coordinate? Sorry, I was just having a quick chat to the guys. One of the interesting things that's come up recently about coordinate is can coordinate fail? Because the coordinate action is you grant a free action to another ship. If that free action fails, has the original coordinate failed or not? Is it cascade through? And currently one of the primary thoughts on this is that no, you've successfully coordinated, like Kylo, you can successfully Kylo. You might not get the outcome achieved from it that you want, but at that point, you have to do something. So whether you choose to focus, evade, target lock, it's up to you from there.
Surprised there was no
So he's
token
bumping.
coming up.
So he's got a token out there, so he's
He
got
does have
something.
the evade, yeah. He's probably got to pull focus off Raid.
Yeah.
It mainly came from the new stress bug, AP5.
Yep.
Because AP5 has the ability to remove a stress. When you grant a coordinate to somebody
take
with
stress
AP5
off.
and they've got a stress, you take the stress off, then grant them coordinate, and you gain 2 stress.
Yeah.
The question came up to us: if that AP5 can't do anything, does the coordinate work and you remove the stress, or does the coordinate fail and the stress is kept? The ruling that I'm pretty sure we came to in agreement was the coordinate is successful. Whether the free action from there is or not, it's up to it. Just like
I would agree with that.
That is very
Because they're
Not
two
saying that's
separate,
formal,
they're two
it's
separate
just what-
actions, so they're like discrete
Unofficial-
units in a sense. I'd agree with that.
Focus,
it's
push,
ambiguous.
movement.
It's not official. It's never really explained because this whole idea of failure versus not failure. But that was generally where we came to.
So it looks like Ray, of course.
I don't like that bump there because he didn't get his actions.
Well, he got one of the action because from the coordinate. So he has got a token, and he has got Ray. So he's
Pulls a focus.
now. It comes down to, are those boats at 2 or 3?
Oh, looks
Yeah,
like
looks
he
like that boat's
focused.
3.
Looks like he focused.
So Carlos just out, gets the Ezra.
Gets Ezra and may as well take a shot.
Well, Ezra's now unmodded and stressed. Not stressed. So we're rolling
Range
3 versus
here
3.
We go.
Hit crit.
It's the glare we can't see. We'll have to get Rob to fix it. I don't know.
Oh,
Save.
go.
Safe.
Yeah, sorry about that dice cam, guys.
I'm pretty sure you should know that. Safe.
It's more it wasn't actually focusing on the dice.
What was that?
It's more it wasn't actually focusing on the dice. I don't know if it's just like the glare,
Yeah.
extra lights have been turned on, or was there any damage?
Carlos got
I don't think so.
Ooh. Stress bow, range 2.
So the thing is though, he puts himself in a rough position because he can stress himself out here. He can stress a boat, but it doesn't matter.
So he's going for the
We're going for a stress.
We are going for a stress.
Well, this now makes sure that Ezra is triggered.
Yep.
Some very nice looking stress tokens on the board there, both the
wonder where
acrylic and
they-
the wooden versions.
I wonder where they came from.
Two.
Looks like I can't. Someone has to get Rob to fix the camera.
Looks like he took a shield.
He lost the
Yep,
Shield
we've
off.
lost the shield there.
Lost the shield.
Shield
on.
off.
That's not too
Cool. It
bad.
can be number 1 because it doesn't have.
So now we're going
So
into.
ghost range 3.
Oh.
2. Will you judge wrong on it?
I think that's range 2. I thought Kanan was range 2 or 3. So I suppose it's irrelevant.
So Jumbo goes down
Right, it's on
for us. There's
primary.
movement.
Yeah,
and it's
that's-
not going through, so it is a range 2 shot. Four dice with Ray, making it effectively still 4 because it doesn't have any rerolls.
It's very that was very close to range 2. So what we've got here is that Kanan's firing out with primary. So we're firing 4 dice primary here. We don't have a target lock.
So
We've
there's
got a focus,
finishes.
but do you take the focus to attack here?
Wrong number of dice. He's rolled 3 reds.
Double. I see 2 raids. Oh,
He's
it's
gone for
TLT.
TLT. Alright.
Oh, he's gone for the tilt, which is
Fair.
a pretty smart option.
And
Like
there's the FCS coming in.
without
Any
he
damage?
knows that John's not going to spend the focus, so he knows that he's got a good chance of putting through.
Was there any damage there?
No, I didn't.
No damage.
No.
No damage.
Cool. Just throw the shields in because the camera's not working well at the moment. We can't read the dice.
I'm gonna get
Oh,
Rob.
they're just bright white.
There he is.
Okay, so we had no damage from that engagement, which will be a little bit disappointing for Vernon, but not wholly unexpected. 3 dice on 3 dice. Oh, sorry, 3 dice on 2.
He wasn't killing the boat.
Both unmodified, but he does get out there.
Now,
He did have the choice to be able to do, and his target lock has actually gone out there. It's just very, very dark on
Yes, I
just
can see
above
it
the
all.
boat. Just above the boat, but we're now firing back with the boats, and we've got choice about what we're going to do. So the question is we can go into a Kanan at range 2.
You've got to be thinking he double harpoons in each night.
Oh, absolutely,
Try
the
different
double
dice, try
harpoons.
it. That's probably what was. Alrighty.
About an inch the other way.
Inch left.
Inch towards Vernon. About an inch towards Vernon.
There we go.
Perfect. So we're just choosing here about our target because we've got the focus here on the Deadeye boats. We don't have to have pick the target in advance.
Yeah.
We can go for 4 dice into a stressed Ezra, but as we talked about earlier, we're looking at just over half a chance on every single dice to roll up and evade with the free actions, even though we've got no tokens, versus going into a naked Kanan.
Yeah, and one of those would be a 3 dice defense too.
I think
One of those will have a thing dropped.
I think Kanan has an evade.
Nice. And so we've got a hit for that first one. We've got Kanan dropped.
Taken
3 shields are taken off, and we've applied the Harpoon condition.
Nice.
On who? Kanan?
Yep, on to Kanan. We lost 3 shields because there's only one on the other. We're going through a rock into Kanan, also at range 2, it looks like.
Trigger Kanan.
Trigger Kanan. No, Kanan only had 1 focus because he evaded for his action, then bumped and then raid up 1.
He was 2.
He must have had 2. Must have been
a token. It's hard to.
So here we've got hit crit, which triggers the Harpoon, and you guys keep talking while I make sure this goes the correct way.
So he takes. Yeah. All right.
So that looks like.
Harpoon.
I like them as an idea. I hate them as someone who gets asked, "How does this work?"
Yeah, because it's
once
you
wrap your
roll
head around it,
so you roll attack, roll defense, determine if you've hit with a crit,
So that's
deal
a
the damage, and then apply your
So
action.
that's a hull on Kanan.
The Harpoon triggers before the damage is dealt. So the interestingly enough, there is actually an order. You deal damage to all of the ships around, then you deal a face down damage card to yourself, then you remove the Harpoon condition.
Cool.
Then damage is done.
Yep.
And after damage is done, a Harpoon condition is reapplied.
Right.
That's actually important because the damage is done before the Harpoon condition is applied.
Yep.
And even though the ship's removed afterwards,
So you
if the
can't double trigger it.
Harpoon killed the person, the condition is applied, but it doesn't go off because it was
Right.
destroyed before it gets applied.
So
He took 6 shields, so that is now a shieldless Kanan, and Ezra is down shieldless as well.
And
at the moment.
Kanan should have a face down damage card.
And Kanan's got a face down damage card as well,
From the
and
actual-
still got a Harpoon condition on there. So I mean, that was about pretty much the best thing that John could hope for in that opening engagement.
Oh, shit. That's a great opening engagement.
I mean, I will be honest though and say I am a little bit worried about where Kylo is right now.
Yes.
He's got lots of places he can be. This is Kylo we're talking, but
He'll be in the other corner next
Exactly.
turn. Don't
We
you
don't know
worry.
where
Don't
he's
you
gonna
worry.
Barrel roll.
Boost
right.
barrel roll 5 straighties.
oh, cool. Nice. Sweet.
I think the issue is Kylo can advance sensors, get out of cover.
I think one of the
Oh,
boats took damage.
you do. A boat did take damage, which is marked on the top one there.
No, like off. No,
in
he
this-
would have shot last.
Interface TLT.
Alright, yeah.
The boat that took damage is now shieldless because it took double swing TLT.
Nice. That does change things a bit, so... But
Not really, because in this kind of engagement, you expect to lose the boat.
Right.
Look, to be honest, I would have expected to lose the boat in that opening engagement.
I don't
Okay.
think he loses the boat this turn.
Does he try and use it to bump?
He goes in and he slams.
absolutely.
He slams to get the bump. So he's going to probably do a 3.
Does he even need to slam for the bump?
Well, he'll do a 3
3 forward?
He'll do a 3 forward or 3
Please
stop.
stress.
What he doesn't want to do is he doesn't want to miss the bump. So he's
I'm not
gonna-
sure I would. I'd personally take in a 3. I'd either go. I'd probably even look at a 2 forwards.
He
because-
wants,
2 forward, 1 forward.
wants to blockade.
Sure.
Yeah. Problem is where's Strezza going to go? Strezza, he's likely going over that debris, so he's going to not have an action, and he's 2 bank and 1, 2, 3 his greens.
Well, the other,
So
the other
he's
boat-
gonna last in that
other
point,
boat's
so.
turning away. He's going to reload.
100%. That boat's out of there.
This boat in the middle potentially could bump and come through the other side, but it puts him in a very bad place. But Kylo's going to do some running, I think, because right now all he needs to do is put pressure on Kanan. He only needs to do one more hull, 2 more hull, 6, 7, 2
Yeah.
more, and then he's basically got the half points. What's happened? One more.
I'm looking at a.
It's not a game that I want to be playing, having a half points ghost there, because the half points ghost out there still does a full points worth of damage.
I'm there.
I understand where you're coming from. I just think you're right. The damage boat has to go in for a bump. You've got to bail with the other. You've got to keep
if the other one
Kylo alive for two rounds and then keep going.
The other one reloads and comes back in for another bite of the action. If he gets another shot off, he puts it into Ezra, kills Ezra. If Ezra's not really dead, and then he's in control. I think it's a tough match.
This is a tough set of dials, I'm sure.
I mean, I've got to say, it's one of the interesting things I've found is that in recent times, especially, is just the iteration of ghost lists. I mean, we went back in the day and there was the ghosts were cool, but nothing special, and then they started to get better. People started to work out how these ships worked. I mean, the ghosts were out for a long time before they became the dominant force.
Yeah.
For a while, they were playing the double ghost auto blaster Y-wing, which was just, I'm putting 40 hull down on the board. Good luck trying. And that was in Ace's meta. So I'm putting 40 hull down on the board. If you're anywhere in range 1, you're taking probably 2 damage.
Your Herald one chopping the other, your K turning one nuts.
It was just nasty. But apart from that, the ghosts were an interesting ship you saw in a while, but not a dominant ship. But then they started to work out how to build this. Because, I mean, they have a lot of hull, but they go down quickly. Yeah. They can just melt in the right conditions.
If you get behind them as hard as they can carry, you're in trouble.
I mean,
it's like John's turning away with one.
Yeah,
which is exactly what we predicted. He'll do that. He'll slam away.
3 hard again.
We've just got to be careful not to talk too loud.
Yeah.
I think he slams 3 straight or even bang if he wants to. It doesn't matter. He's slamming.
3 straight here is because the other guys are going to be either moving up to the right or straight up the board.
He's the main.
Now this is fine. He's doing this. The next turn he'll do a soft turn, reload, and get ready to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that one. The same token. We've got the other boat.
Yeah, the other boat, we're probably looking at a bump in.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be a 3.
3 forward's a fairly safe one, but a 2 forward actually gives you a lot of options. 2 bank?
2 banks.
I wouldn't have predicted that myself, but a 2 forward would have given you the ability then to 2 bank in further.
It is still green though, so we'll clear that straight away.
It is. And he can take his focus and it gives him a little bit of defense if need be. But my worry here is that if Kanan goes, right, I'm doing a 3 forwards over the top of you, he's now sitting range 1 in the rear arc.
This is what I think Vernon's going to do, a 3 soft here also. And he gets potentially, like, size of the base makes it difficult. Does it get past? He does a 5 straight.
I don't think he. Oh, it's
where the base is.
I don't think he'll fit. I don't think he'd fit. If it's
3 bank to the left would fit.
To the left. I was thinking to the right. Sorry.
You're in no rush with the ghost.
Yeah. So probably bump.
It's possible he fits.
I mean, these guys play in the same shop every week, so they know what they're doing. They're not going to need to call in a judge unless it's something really, really on edge, and they've just done that. So what have we got now?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it's the actual shop hours are over. Or almost over. It's 10 to 5. Alright, so we got Tim just standing into assist. Honestly, like, bumping is the one thing I have a lot of trouble getting my head around. Bumping and opening engagements I find. Like, bumping, it's like, where do you, like, stop? It's like, is this the right play? Then you have, like, big ships which can bump without touching you, and it's just like, what?
Yeah,
like, what?
The only way to really fix a bump is you have to put the trains on as they're putting it on there, and you do the best you can to get both the front and back nubs in, and that's the way. And then you pick one up. Yeah.
Too hard, so yeah.
Yeah, and this is a good move by Vernon,
because
he knew the other gunboat had to fly out, he's predicted the bump, which is what John's done, and this was the one with no shields. He's got an opportunity to action, and he's gonna murder that boat.
So what do you think we see out of Kylo? I don't think he'll turn
Kylo's
in.
going to run.
He's definitely going
Kylo's unlikely to come in.
Yeah, I would. Based on where John left his boat, I would say Kylo's unlikely to come in.
So he's
If
not,
he was
he's not
predicting-
censoring. He's doing
Done
a
it.
3 boost, 3 bank.
Oh no, this is very nice from John because he's going to be able to barrel roll to the left here, barrel
Get in
roll a
that
bit to
side
back,
arc,
and
yeah.
he's not going to be an arc. He's going to have, and he's not just that, he's out of arc of the stress spot as well.
Yes.
Oh, that's beautiful. I would never have seen that.
Yeah, I think.
Or is he out of arc? He's probably out of arc of the stress spot.
Stress spot's out.
Who cares?
Because he's stressed.
No, but he's already stressed, so that puts him double stressed. So you got to be really careful with
Yeah.
that one. It
That's
doesn't
fine, just
matter
push the triple
because it
stress,
allows
that's
you to. You could 3 bank out of there, boost, barrel roll, and you'd still be double stressed. But
Vernon's gonna have to turn right, I think, next.
well, Vernon's in an interesting
So
position because he's now got his
pulling
2
a
focuses out.
Yep.
But he's going to have to make
Gonna
sure
be,
that he
is that going to be range
keeps
1 out of
yeah.
Kylo? Yeah, so 3 dice, 2 hits.
And he's not likely to get his title. No title.
No title. Which is unfortunate, but what can you do?
He's in a good place.
2 hits versus what? 1 green? Or 0? There's 0 green.
Two Colin Kane.
Oh, beautiful. That's what I like to see. Get Kanan the fuck out of here.
Well, I think the issue now is Kanan's going to try and chow down on
Yeah, but to be honest, flying K2, it doesn't matter.
boat's done its job.
So this will be
Your boat's got
range
1
into the
harpoon
boat.
off. If you lose the boat at this stage, it really doesn't matter. It's kind of expected in this list.
Well, you've got-
that boat has done its
His
job.
range one is 5 dice and he's going to get a fin roll.
But because Finn's reroll 2 blanks.
Finn adds a blank,
Adds a blank,
but because
right.
he's got the fire control from the previous round, because this was the boat he fired on, that's why he's going to be able to get the reroll. So he'll add a blank now.
Nice.
Blank, yes, not a crit.
Come on, Ben. He's got a.
He's got target lock. So at this point, you reroll all of the target
He
lock.
just picks the 3 blanks up and rerolls.
Yeah, probably. Yes, because
He's got a focus.
Cool. That's going to be
That's-
4 hits and a crit.
4 hits and a crit. We're waiting for the
It's
other
the one
things
he's
to come
fired on.
through,
He's
so-
killed it.
Yes, except that he's got 2 dice defense with a focus. So
No, he's
1. So
That's
3
enough.
hits and a crit.
That's enough.
yep, that's enough. That one.
2 hits and a crit. So 1.
3 hits and a crit. So 3.
No, he stopped 1.
Yeah, he did. So it's still 3 hits and a crit.
2, 1. He's not on 1. Unless he gets direct hit. I'll find out what that.
No, they're only on full hull. So there's 4 die. He's gone. He's gone.
He hit 4 times. He stopped 1.
He hit 5.
I hit 5.
Because he did 5, added the 6th, and
Right.
re-rolled a bunch. So what was the crit? Structural damage.
That was expected. You'd
Oh.
expect the boat to go.
100%. And
Um,
John won't be disappointed because this is exactly what you expect.
There's his win condition.
Kylo's not taking any damage here.
Ben's got.
He's now only got 1 stress, which allows for him to get out of there with that
Ezra's got
whatever he wants.
Ezra's got no shot. Ezra here turns slowly to the right,
Absolutely. Try and cover where that boat's coming back in.
and he gets a rear arc on. Gets a rear arc on Kylo and tries to double stress him.
Yeah, he's got to go slow.
Because if he does a 2,
If he does a hard, he will lose the arc on Kylo because Kylo will 3 in, boost barrel roll,
and
and
I think Kanan turns
gone.
right here.
right or left?
I think he goes right and comes around.
From the top of the board?
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's an option.
It's an option.
optional.
Different thing is that
Because the fear is if he goes left, Kylo picks it, goes in the side arc.
it's possible with this, you're predicting on a 3 bank there, wherever you're looking at going out. Because the thing is that 3 bank's pretty protected. Because if Kylo gets it wrong and he goes right, like you're suggesting, that puts Kylo facing away in range 2 in arc and puts him in a world of hurt. So Kylo's probably going to be banking to the 3 left and getting out of dodge. It's Kylo. You just don't risk him. There's no point. Even with the
Right now
loss of the 26, he's still up on points.
Right now he's in control. He's got a 7 hull Kanan. Ezra's got no shields. You've got a situation where the other boat is fully loaded, it's about to probably reload, and Kylo's fully so John's in control there. I don't think there was much Vernon could have done. Those two boats were always going to come in and burn.
It's all about a minimization, and it goes back to what we were talking about the Ghost earlier. I mean, playing in the main competition, I took two lists. I took an Imperial Aces list, which is my preferred playstyle, and I needed to cover my holes, which was things that do large amounts of damage through shields, through through dice, everything along that lines. So I took a Ghost. Difference is the way that I designed my Ghost was very defensive. Unlike this Ghost is very offensive. My Ghost was designed around minimizing damage incoming, minimizing attacks in, and we saw a Ghost take no damage from a Harpoon earlier today.
I think my preference on the Ghost is the one that's kind of in between, not too heavily evading. This one I think is a bit too aggressive, but has a great opportunity, and that fits Vernon's style. So he will always run an aggressive list because it's him and his style. But I think when you have something in between, maybe with accuracy corrector, recon, what you're doing is you've got a mix of both. But I think it goes back to your point you made earlier, Tim. The variance now is that you can see different things. You see the Shikaping now with the coordinate action. You see a lot of them with Fen. You see a lot of the Lorik. It's interesting. And then you've got the various builds, Draw Their Fire, Generals. You've got all kinds of different mods. So it's interesting.
This particular Ghost build comes out of an older build called Caitlin's Pride, originally created by Kalen Wong from northwestern US, I think up in the Seattle-ish region, somewhere in that area, and he ran this back in the day of Biggs. But what he did different to everyone else is instead of taking R2D2, he put M9G8 on Biggs. So Biggs would target lock Kanan, and that would give Kanan a 1 dice reroll minimum on every single TLT shot throughout the day, as well as primaries. So while he was setting up for fire control, he still had all of his mods. Or he could keep fire control on the main target, and if he couldn't target that one that round, well, he just M9G8'd onto the other target. It was very aggressive, but Vernon went over the Worlds last year, and it was one of his major concerns, because he was running a Rebel Swarm at the time. So Vernon asked me to put this down on the table against him, and we probably played through 3, 4, 5 games of Caitlin's Pride against Vernon. So Vernon knows how this Ghost works so well, because it was something he wanted to fly against explicitly. He knows that it is just go in and unload with just big guns.
Shoot the feed, too hard.
I thought this would happen to just open that back up, but I think Kylo's good enough to get out of it.
Yeah.
Alright, so we got the Ghost.
He's going here.
That Sheathapede hasn't cleared any more stress. It's still double stress.
Yes, that's good.
So he's not going, at the moment, he's just gone, I'm never going to coordinate again. Yeah. I'm just going to run this from now on.
I just want to stress things. I think
it has 2 attack dice?
2 attack,
2 defense.
But it really doesn't want to hit you, it wants to double stress.
Yeah, he doesn't care about hitting. It's all about a stress at this stage.
Yeah. He's got Gunner on it. All he wants to do is...
It's highly defensive. It's highly frustrating. But, that's what they're...
What do you think he does now as his action? I think, does he focus or does he risk a target lock?
He shouldn't target lock because, I think he just gets that naturally.
Yeah,
he goes, okay, I'll do my first TLTs and get target lock on the second, or I'll fire a primaries and get target lock for the TLTs. You don't rush this Ghost because, as we talked about earlier, that focus, being able to focus on attack or focus to reduce an attack die in, is worth so much. That's why we see Kanan run pretty much exclusively nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, I can see an evade token down on Ghost.
That would be my move. You're just going. I'm not wanting to do anything damage-wise this month. He's also probably still got some raise banks.
Yes.
Probably.
Because it was a while before the initial engagement, so there was at least 3 rounds. I mean, that's why typically I personally like to run about 3 to 4 rays to keep it going, especially since many of these builds do allow for extra ones now. Like you can coordinate. My particular one I have Ginerso, so I'm allowed to coordinate and focus, coordinate a Ginerso and a focus, which allows me to get more than 1 focus action if I need to, or it gives me the options. You see with Rexpec being able to take up 2 focuses, and so you can use one and bank the other one. It's all just about minimizing incoming damage at the moment, and the evade is just absolutely gold for something like that.
Yeah, John's looking at this intensely. He's looking at some time.
He's done a 5 forwards.
So I think he's trying to get out of town because he doesn't want to get double stressed. Yeah, that's what I thought he'd do. 5 straight, get the hell out of town.
Oh, that was very close, but it was a good play because he's now no longer stressed.
Yep.
He's not going to get fired upon. He's outside of TLT range. He's not getting fired upon by that Sheathopede.
Well, we'll check the range. I think he might collect the 3.
I'm pretty sure his Road Squadron is now reloaded because we're seeing a
weapons disabled. Yeah. He didn't.
So we're stressed, but no damage, which means we're going to take another stress. This actually now puts the Road Squadron in a really bad place because that Road Squadron can't focus next round, and the greens on that are not all that good.
I think he's just in. But
that's fine. It's Kylo range 3.
Thrusters.
Unmodified for the first set, so
Tyler will come up.
you take 1 shield, you can go and give Kanan a PS0, you know, that sort of idea. Yep, so we haven't seen that card come out yet, so we're still assuming nothing's been hit. Okay, there we go, 3. There we go. Auto thrusters, but it's hit, so there, Kylo comes into play here. Now, I think this Kylo pilot ability is very, very underrated. Kylo pilot ability turns around and says that you give me your deck, I look through it, I get to assign a pilot crit to this card. So we've got Shaken Pilot, Blinded Pilot.
Certainly blinded.
Yeah, PS0 is probably not going to give you much, maybe to get it below the boat, because that way you can have the boat and Kylo fire before Kanan.
The thing with the Kylo pilot, at least in this list, because you have no way to guarantee crits except rolling them natties, do you still assign good crits and go, oh, well, if I get it, or do you go, I'll take the crappy ones, because it's a compulsory effect, every time you hit me, I have to discard whatever I've pulled and put a new one out?
No, I think you've got to go for the best.
You've got to go for the best ones, because the thing is if you give it the crap ones and you ever roll 1 crit, you've just stuffed yourself up.
Sure, but on the other hand, you're hoping you roll 1 crit.
I think what you've got
do you want to go, I need to roll natty crits to get value out of this ability?
Nah,
no, I think you always want to back yourself and turn around and go, if I do this, I'm not going to get shot this turn, or I'll do this on PS0, or whatever you want to do. And I think what you do, you assign it, you go for it, and if you miss or you hit it and you have to reassign, then you just go for the next best thing in the deck.
Right. You've also got to think about what your crits are.
Yep.
Because what is bad for different people. Thrust control fire is awful for an ace. So game 1 stress. Kanan doesn't care.
Right, yeah.
However, weapons failure on Kanan is awful. Because you're now rolling... if Kanan gets weapons failure and he's rolling 2 dice TLTs, he's now doing no damage and he's now rolling a 3 dice primary. But the thing is you can't put them in the game. So the thing is you're not... By trying to self-sort your Kylo crit, you're not actually doing much else. So you might as well go for your best one there, because your other ones there, you're going to be getting off your 2nd and your 3rd crits.
Right, cool.
Anyway, so you might as well front load with your best and go from there.
It's going to be interesting here because Vernon, Vernon's game plan here is he's got to kill that boat. Because that's the only real shot he's got, and that boat, in theory, as long as Ezra stays around for a little bit longer, it's going to be multiple stress, but it's going to take him a long time to get there. You'd think that boat will shake that stress, turn around and harpoon away.
Yeah.
Because the boat's got all...
Oh, that boat's not soaking any stress. Because Kylo, that Sheathopede's going to do a 1 bank or 2 bank to the left. Or 1 bank to the left, it doesn't care about stress. It's going to do a 1 bank to the left. That boat has...
You may even do a 1 straight.
Yeah, that boat, its greens are only...
2 forward, 2 bank, and 3 forward.
Exactly, so it's... Well, and a 1 forward. But either way...
1 forward's white.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
Sure it is.
What is it?
I'm not that bad at the game. I hope.
What are they called again?
The Alpha Class Starwing.
Oh, Alpha Class Starwing. Not Gunboat. No, the one forward is green.
Is white? Oh, his green.
But what it means is he's going to try and clear stress.
Harpoon token? Oh, I don't know. What's the
That's the
Oh.
score to settle.
Score to settle.
Oh,
So that one's going to get critted. Oh, 2 turn away.
well, that's actually a good move. That boat can,
Hi, Kylo.
can get shot again. It just depends what Kylo.
That boat is not getting out of stress for another 4 rounds. That boat's getting 2 more stress
It
now.
depends what John's done with Kylo. But you'd be thinking that he's going to get away from the ship.
Oh, 100%. And I wouldn't base myself on previous killing that shit because as we talked about those dice earlier.
Here we go for the boost.
So we go for the boost. We're going to go to
Maybe like focus
2
too
left.
hard.
Probably a focus 2 left. Yeah.
Sweet.
2 left or a 2 bank? I would have favoured or a 2-4. Ooh, that's. Oh, he's got a good judge on. He's got a good judge on the angles. We can't see it where we are.
Yeah.
I
So
think he's safe.
He might want to clear his stress token.
yes. That's fine. Sorry. It looked like a 2 forwards, which is green, which is what we were confused.
So he's dialed a red.
Okay, so what he's done here is he's actually dialed in a red. He did a talent predicting a different maneuver. He was probably predicting it was going to go to the left,
right?
2 straight white.
Ooh,
And so
3
what he's
blanks
done
from
is
John.
he's intentionally pushed the limit, taken the focus, and then revealed a red maneuver, which is now, according to the game state, a 2 white forward instead of being a hand over your dial to the other person can stuff you up maneuver. Because it's no longer an illegal maneuver.
Yeah.
That back in the day is if you were stressed and you took a red maneuver, you handed your dial over to the other player and they did any legal maneuver on the board they wanted, even flying you 3 hard off the board.
Oh man, Eddie would have
3
loved
hard.
it. Actually, Eddie would have
Whatever it
hated
was, you know, it was a case of you could just see it in the eyes of the players. Like, I know I could fly you off the board now or not. Am I going to be that person? And the answer is, it's a game, and you've got to make the decision for yourself about how important it is.
Correct him.
Yeah, different competitions, different tournaments. But
Yeah, mate.
in this case, top table, yeah, you fly the dude off the board.
I think at this point they're going, do we really want to take that trophy home?
What do you think is going to happen here now? I think
Did that gumbo get shot?
No,
I think Vernon rolled
haven't
dice.
seen any
I saw
more-
Vernon roll dice and then 3 blanks on John. So could we get a
where's the stress?
Damage.
if it hasn't come out, it's a missed opportunity. He's got to nominate. He might have not
I
nominated.
swear I saw Vernon roll dice.
He could have rolled dice, but it doesn't mean that he needs to apply stress.
The 2 forward
Didn't
here.
apply stress, but the damage did do because I
I
saw
will
the
check
gumbo
the
roll
damage,
3
but-
blanks.
Because he should have shot and stressed that thing to death.
What would he have shot with?
Because
Nobody's watching.
What does the Sheath Beat have? Butt guns.
yeah, she,
There is a damage off the boat. We did miss that one. Well picked up,
and that means he also missed getting in the stress.
but that is at the decision of the players.
I didn't realise I had butt guns, so oh god, that's even more annoying.
No,
no,
the
it's
bot
a
says May.
Was it May?
It's a May.
The bot says when attacking May, assign 1 stress
Silly,
to your
silly.
damage.
Because why wouldn't he have stressed him? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Must have missed it.
But I'm not going to go in there and ask because
if it's a May, it's a May.
well, no, if he did, he has to have it on the table, and that's a mandatory state. But if he didn't, I didn't see whether any more stress came down. But
If defender you may, yeah.
so there was no extra stress from the added up
He did the damage, but he didn't put it on.
3 blanks?
on either board.
3 bank, here we
No,
go
they
from
missed it.
strong.
No, that's up to them.
You're completely right. It's on you.
But if Vernon put one out and John didn't
stress.
put one out, John would have to put one out. That is mandatory game state. But if Vernon didn't nominate it and nobody did it, then definitely
No,
it's not
Vernon
required.
put one out because he
So,
had 3 stress. 4
John
stress.
is
Or stress.
ahead. Not 2.
Yeah.
So that's an issue, I think, because Vernon's put stress out.
They got 21 minutes.
practice talking about. He hasn't learned to count yet. That's probably why he only got to top 8.
He didn't actually shoot.
He shot the previous round, but he did an R3A2, so there was no extra stress from either side.
So why do we think he didn't do that?
He forgot.
Oh, okay, that's it.
No,
I went in and Vernon just went, looked at me and went, and I know that look from Vernon because he's given me that look many times. I've given him that look many times. It's just like, oh man, what did I just do?
Yeah, okay.
So it was an unfortunate thing for him, but it's game state. You continue on, and it happens.
It happens.
Rush it
I
off.
mean, it would give the boat 2 more turns, but I think the boat still just keeps going too straight and safe.
The boat at the moment is not rushing. I mean,
and it would clear it at some point and come back round. So I don't think it's a killer point at this stage.
yeah, at this point, it's interesting in that he's cleared his stress, so he's got the choice now to be able to choose his attack run. If he wants to make,
Yeah, he's going to come back in.
if he wants to make an attack run with a focus, he's now got the opportunity to do it, which he didn't have for 3 rounds. So Vernon now needs to consider also what he's doing with that, with this stress bug, because he can keep chasing Kylo and hopefully get Kylo stressed, but while that stress bug is behind Kylo, Kylo will be doing boost barrel roll 5 forwards, boost barrel roll 5 forwards, and just getting out of dodge. He has no reason to engage, unfortunately, but the thing is that if that boat comes in and takes out Ezra, because as we talked about earlier, he hasn't regen the shield. Can you check? Because I don't think Ezra has, but don't remind him of it. Yeah, same thing. Oh, you're in. And so what we're looking at here is that even without mods, even if he rolls that maximum 2, which is still, as we said, it's just over a half.
Yeah,
So we're looking at, you know, the chances of rolling that, you're 60% of the time, you'll say you'll roll double. You know, not double, not 60%, less than that. But
This stage with the boat coming in, Ezra will iron in this turn to try and get that last one.
if he's remembered, he's got it. It's been 5 rounds today, you know, it's
Long
been a while.
day, you know, we're all... main event's over, we're all excited. And this is the kiddie pool, so...
No, this has been a very hard competition for these guys. There's a lot of jokes. I was only giving these guys shit because I play with them on Thursdays every week. So, sorry for breaking your PG rating
mate.
there.
PG.
But
I think he's out of range, he's saying.
100%. You can't catch Kylo.
It's not likely. Not with a baseline.
And I give these guys joke. I joke around with these guys because we play every week, and so you know I'll be hearing about how one of these two has won the World Cup for the rest of the time, for forever now. I'll be seeing that
But
ring.
it's fine, World Cup 6, you'll just win it, it's fine.
But I'll just show them my top 16 at the
Yeah, exactly.
SummerSlam. You know,
No, we're just whipping with it.
we'll be playing. It's all good fun with these guys. They're good players. They're having
range.
fun. That gunboat's going to do it 1 forward, and it's
One
going to attempt to
forward
nuke
focus.
Ezra.
And you're correct, he's forgotten the iron.
He has. What's happened is he's slamming.
Pulse raise in action.
Has rushed his slamming. When he was done with slamming, it has caused him to have to either try and do a big maneuver to get out, but he's just going to get if he remembers pulse ratio, which is already forgotten
Yeah.
because it's now in the
They're now dialed down to 2.
It's moved on. So, I mean, you've got to also be careful because the thing is, if he had pulse ray shielded here, you get a shield back. But we're still talking about a 2 dice defense against a 4 dice attack harpoon, which drops in the crit.
Yeah.
Oh, that one might be enough, but that also means that if that harpoon condition goes down onto that bug can never get anywhere near Kanan again. Because if either of them trigger that harpoon,
It's
the
death.
bug is dead.
It's death and destruction.
Because the joy of it is that if the trigger that is still sitting on Kanan goes off and that bug's on 1.
Ezra's best forward for?
I don't think he'll be forward.
Ezra's in a sheathopede, isn't he?
Yeah,
He is.
I reckon he'll be on 1 or 2 forward.
The sheathopede has a 4 red
Red,
forwards, so it's a maximum 3 green. He's not worried about clearing stress. He's
I'm just thinking about, is he going to try and shut down the range?
I don't think he can.
could be.
I think
Oh,
that
from there are 3 forwards and a 1 forwards because the topper's got to go 1 forwards. You're probably going to hit the edge of the range 1. But at that point, you then go, I've still got my focus. Where are you coming, Kanan? You know, it's for John. It's not it's not a lose-lose situation. It's John has got a solid move in from here. Oh no, I was just checking time. Cool.
Yeah, I
So-
think
Vernon has 16 minutes to kill that gunboat and not lose Ezra.
And not lose Ezra. Or
That is the
lose
massive
Kanan.
thing. Or lose Kanan.
Because the thing is that gunboat, there's 2 gunboats is worth 52. At the moment, John's destroyed 28. That Ezra is worth 26. The other half of Kanan is worth 28. Which means Vernon has to kill both the gunboats, which is almost full health,
And Point Fortress.
and not lose a 7-hull Kanan or a 4-hull Sheathapede. One rolling 0 dice, one rolling 2 dice. Wanted.
still a big ask.
It's a very big ask. But, 14 minutes, we've seen a lot happen in 14 minutes over this tournament.
Yeah. Looks like still making final decisions about where Kyle is going. If John can blow Ezra off with the Harpoon, he's okay with losing that final gunboat because he's ahead.
It's risky, but he's okay with it because Kylo does Kylo things and
Kane can't catch him.
exactly. I mean, the other thing is that what you can look at here is that Kylo here is able to advance senses a focus because he's got a target lock down on that treasure. Advance senses a focus, pull in a Talon roll and a shot.
He did a good job. John did a very good move.
He can boost with a 2 in or
John knows that as soon as he touches Ezra, he kills Ezra, he's out.
I mean, Ezra is very hard to kill, and that's why you're seeing a lot of stressor on the board at the moment.
We've got alright.
Okay,
So I think he thinks that Vernon will close the gap. So
I would agree. I would have said that. I
still would have done the 1.
No, I would have gone with 3. Because the thing is he would have. If Strezra closes the gap, there's not much help. But if Strezra does 3 forwards now and there's a bump, that's a bump Strezra going with a focus
Does
into,
that-
or you can come forwards and 3 slam forwards again, possibly.
He's
I
decided.
wouldn't.
I
He's
would not
deciding,
slam
but I'd
because
take the
the
focus.
ghost will just light that gunboat.
Interesting.
I think he's gambling that will bump.
The ghost is good.
So this is an issue. If Vernon goes just too straight here, what happens is he gets reshot into the gunboat. Does the gunboat really care? I think the gunboat.
That's what Kanan's
I
doing.
think this is what John's doing. John's hoping for the bump on Kanan and fly past and jump away because he knows he's 1 from here as long as he doesn't use his boat.
That looks like a 2.
Is it?
No, it's actually a 3 forwards. One of the tricks we learned is that, well, one of the tricks that I was taught a long time ago is that a 3 forwards is the same thing as a 5 forwards measured from the back of one to the front of the next.
Good call from John. He's pumped.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, alright.
Beautiful.
But the problem came.
That's what separates you good players from scrubs like me. I would not
The
say
issue
that.
is here, what's Kylo doing? But the big thing will be Kylo will turn in, and we'll see what happens. But Ezra is at least going to put 2 stress as long as he remembers onto the gunboat.
Yeah. But as we said earlier, gunboats 3 hards out.
But then he can't do anything. Vernon's going to do 2 straight to guarantee that he's going to get a shot. And he's going to shoot the gunboat. The gunboat's fully loaded. He needed to be able to
3
shoot
hard.
this turn.
No, that's a talent.
Talon.
He advanced senses the focus in, as I called it. He advanced senses the focus in, he talents, takes the stress.
Possible range 3 here.
No.
It's fine. Oh.
Ooh, second time Vernon's
It's very easy. You know what? I've seen this so many times with this particular ship. The length of those wings on the ship, it's always the range ruler when you're picking it up off the
I
table.
know, right?
It's always that. And you have to be so careful. But,
Just need to
this
get
time of
a
day,
camera around.
3 out
Funny
of that.
Kylo compilation. It's just people knocking
There
it.
you
What's
go, 2 minutes.
us the butt
2
guns?
no stress for you.
Nope, takes another 2 shields off that boat. This puts John into it. This is interesting, is that if he hadn't slammed, he could have taken a focus. He probably would have bumped the stress up,
Now, Vernon
and he would have had a range 2 shot into
Vernon
the.
again is elected not to stress him.
Yeah, that hasn't come out. So and he hit, so that gunner doesn't go off.
No, but he gets 1 stress if he wants to.
He hasn't though. You
no,
you
it's
when you
elect at
declare.
attack.
It's
It's when you declare.
Yeah.
It's not a post attack
No,
thing.
no, but the issue that he hasn't elected it is that because he wants him to get away. I don't understand that.
It's 5 days. It's been hot in Sydney. We've been averaging high 30s, low 40s in Sydney. You put 30, 40 space heaters into a small room, and
Because I think
okay, and so we've got the ion
There it is.
coming
There's
in.
pulse
There it
ray
is.
shield.
Pulse ray shield's coming back.
I think he's looked at his cards and hanging them.
I think he's just missing that extra
Don't you
stress.
love those
is what
games
we're-
where it's like halfway through and you look at your cards? Could have been doing that all the time. Whoops.
Yeah, I mean, if you stress the boat, the issue is the boat can't action on its way through unless it does a green. It can't green through.
Oh, you could have green 2'd out.
Move to that, okay. Yes, you can.
Green 2'd out, and so 1 stress is not an issue here. 2 is because 2 out, 2 bank, 2 bank right, 2 bank left. You've gone about 5 forwards or 7. No, sorry, it's further than that. I think it's about 6 forwards. The ghost will move.
One straight. If it goes one
No,
straight,
the boat moves before him, so the ghost will have moves also. So that basically moves the back of that ghost up 3. So where they are, there's quite a gap that grows.
so he's safe anyway.
And I don't know where the current ghost target lock is
It is kind of.
because I can't see it. So it's possibly on that boat, but I'm not sure.
I think it's on that boat. I think I can see the tail under the cemetery. I think. But we will see when this ghost is moved.
Okay, there's your 3 bank.
And then he's going to blast away.
Absolutely. There is no point in sitting where he is. John doing the right thing there and putting the extra boat back first, the extra ship back first.
Yeah. And John knows now here. All he has to do is keep the boat alive
For 9 more minutes.
and he can't lose.
I mean,
that
it's a
talent?
bit of a pity that we don't see a bit more attacking nature in the game. It's not a bad thing in that it shows a deep level of strategy.
Yep.
Is being able to know when to go in and when to go out, because let's be honest, we don't all just want to come in and, well, no, let me rephrase that. Just coming in and rolling dice and taking names is just risky, you know. Why is, what was that?
Travis Fox.
No,
No, you did
there's a
play
lot of
well.
strategy behind
There
this
was a
stuff,
lot of
but
strategy.
what it means is that a lot of people will look at this and go, oh, it's such a low scoring game. But you've been watching tactics of everything move and move. There we have it. That prime thrusters barrel roll first, and we'll go for a 2 hard to the right.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
that a boost?
one.
Oh, it's a boost, so he's going to take an extra stress now.
Right.
Remember what we were talking about before? The push the limit off
Yeah.
that? There we go. Nice 3 big. He knows where he needs to be, and that's nowhere near anything
He
else.
doesn't need to take any risks. He's got this game on. Kane has to chase the end.
I just want to know what John's wife is going to think of that trophy.
Yeah.
Oh, you see all
Well,
these cute plastic
Dean's
ships? They
missus
can go
loved
with the
it,
cubes
so-
of the Buddha in the bin.
What was that?
Dean's missus loved it. She kept calling it Darthy, apparently. So,
We've got 8 minutes, guys.
No, these guys have 30
Well, that's what the clock we've been told.
These guys have 30 seconds.
no, we've been told this clock.
Wait, let me just confirm with Rob.
So, what are you thinking if you're John right now? What are you doing with the gunboat?
I'd be thinking this is the longest 8 minutes of my life.
John, all he has to do is keep running.
What do you think he's doing with the boat? 3 hard, 3
He
straight?
turns the boat round behind him,
Yep.
turns left on the boat, and just
Left
stays there.
Left on Carl. Oh, that's
Carlo
straight
goes
for another
there.
turn on Carl.
Because
Fly forward.
Vernon either K turns here with Kanan and picks it, or see Kanan could do the K because the turn is going to be tight.
So are they on the same clock as us?
They're on the clock that's showing on the screen. We're running. The screen guys started a little bit later than everyone else, so
So I assume Rob's taking care of it
This is
then?
what I thought
Yeah.
he'd do. He's turning behind Kanan. He's going to probably sit. He's probably going to sit there. Yep, that's what I thought. So I mean, he's just because if Kanan K turns, he can slam
So
and
it's like
slam.
he's 2 harding in.
no. They're too harding in. Look, both of these players know that there's short time on the board. Both of them want to win by winning. You know, so neither of them is going to start slow playing out
neither
here.
of them really want to lug the trophy home either, especially not to North Sydney.
Well, you do what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
you're in
yeah.
for a competition.
What
you
you
sign
do-
up
what
to
you do-
conditions at the start, and if you walk away, you walk away.
Yeah, well, what the things you do for X-wing fame, right?
All John needs to do is keep running.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to keep doing his maneuvers,
Three bank
moving
on that
through
one,
fast. Yeah, he wants to clear that second stress, so he's going to
Barrel roll, one.
prime thrusters,
Left.
do your maneuver,
Left. Ooh,
cleared the stress. That's fine. It doesn't matter. He's got 6 minutes. You can dance around the top.
Chase Kylo is 7.
Cutler's full of hell.
He's with 5 damage.
Oh no,
Taken-
sorry,
taken-
Cutler's taken 2.
He's not going to die.
One.
He's also got that title, which, as we discussed before, pound for pound is incredible.
Yeah.
So-
Well, discussed off screen anyway,
Vernon has to
but
turn into
yes,
that
it is. When you broke it down by the numbers, it was
Yeah.
much better than I gave it credit for.
I mean, this title's an interesting one on Kylo. A lot of people look at it and go, but it doesn't proc very often because there's so
Come
many
on,
ships
you're
on the
saying a
board.
lot of people, but you're
No,
talking
it's-
about me. Come on, I'm the one that brought it up like an hour ago.
Today you were, but I've had this discussion with a lot of people. People talk about it and they go, oh, but it's a clutch. Like, why would I want something where a reroll? Well, the thing is if you break it down by the numbers, it's easy. A hull upgrade is 3 points. A shield upgrade is 4 points. An evade is worth the same as a shield upgrade because they both totally reduce the damage. If that title gives you at least one more evade than you had the first time, it's worth 4 points,
Bang
but
for your
only
buck.
costs 2. And it's there whenever you need it.
And then
So
sometimes you get a predator.
sometimes you get a free predator. Not very often,
But hey, when you get it, you
happens
get it.
when it happens.
Happens on is 3 bank. 2 bank.
Yeah, he's not in any rush.
He doesn't want to fight.
He doesn't even want to slam here. It's
No,
focus.
he wants to stay as far away.
Exactly.
from
Focus.
Kanan, they're going
Kane's going in hard, I think, there. But he's going to go over that. Oh,
Debris.
the Strezra's going over the debris.
Alrighty.
Popping another stress.
In before, like,
I think we rolled and it was clear.
I haven't
These
even,
are
I haven't
why.
even put Strezra's shield back
There
on.
you
What
go.
a scrub.
There's the two turns.
Look, Vernon's realised what he's got to do.
Yeah.
He's got to get that boat. He's got 4.5 minutes.
Out of range. Kylo hasn't even moved.
This
Sounds like the most half-assed check.
Vernon's got to be very careful. The boat can do a 3 hard and a slap, a 3 soft slap. Vernon has to do 1 straight and that doesn't fit.
Would you go for a 3 hard and 3 soft slam, or would you go for a 3 slam into a something from there? 3
One
slam,
hard
3
in.
slam. Go for the big arc rather than go hard in and then back out.
I'm thinking he does a hard 3 and then a soft 3 into straight to Cannon.
Oh, you're saying going back into Kanan.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Right, get inside the donut.
Because he put.
No, he wants to bump Cannon.
Ah, right, of course.
Oh, there's a lovely boost. No, it's a
No, he's not allowed to boost onto a rock, so that's not an issue. Or a debris.
I think if he can,
barrel and boost.
if John does the bump, then John wins the game.
3 minutes left
If
in.
the bump doesn't work,
I'll give him an update once combat has started.
if he doesn't get the bump right, then he's in serious problems because he's at range, potentially close range of
Barrel.
with Finn.
Boost 1 bank.
No, he won't get 1 bank because he can't 1 bank on a silencer.
Boost.
You can.
Oh, you said boost 1 bank. Sorry, I thought you meant boost then 1 bank.
Oh, no.
So
Only got the 1.
he'll barrel roll. If
Oh, no,
he's sensible, he should take himself a focus,
So,
and then he'll 2 bank in. There we go. It's focus, and then he'll reveal his dial for probably a 2 hard in. A
It's
2
already
bank
moved.
in.
It's already moved.
Oh, he's already moved. Oh.
1 harder.
Ah, okay.
That gives Vernon potential shots.
It does.
Looks like he's out.
Looks like they're back on the planning phase.
The problem he's
2
got now.
minutes.
The problem he's got now is he's got a direct shot on Ezra next turn. If he just goes 1 straight, he's already got his target up. He's going to have a focus, and he should kill Ezra.
can't kill him. Ezra's half health.
Probably won't kill Ezra because he's at 5 hull and Kylo.
Just remember he
Is Ezra untouched?
no, because he pulsed right
Three
shield
minutes,
back there.
He pulsed. Yeah, sorry. He's got
Hey,
4.
I only remember to add it like this turn, so you know.
Yeah, Ezra,
We're all on top of the game here.
Yeah,
aren't
no, you're right. He's probably not going to kill Ezra. He's got to.
Does he like all in? If he has to commit, would he all in on the ghost? Or
He
is he
has,
gonna half in?
he has to go 1 straight on the ghost, in my opinion. Because if he goes anything
But
else,
we won't talk too loudly about it.
I think if he goes anything other than one straight, his problem is if John hits a slam, he might even get the slam. There's 3 hard, 3 soft.
He might gamble, but
I
I
think
think the last time
this-
and go
yeah.
3 straight slam on the gumbo, get it right at the corner. Hopefully, he thinks the time isn't going then go lanes, no shots on the board.
Yeah, here's an interesting one. How close do you reckon they are to the bottom of the board? Do you reckon the 3 bank to the right would fit? Yes. 3 bank to the right, 3 bank, 3 hard to the left.
No, you just do 3 banks on the right.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be playing that now because if he puts him off the board, he's just lost himself the game.
Yeah.
So that is, if he does it, oh, he is.
This is big because Vernon doesn't pick. If John picks the
Look, we've got the last planning phase here, we've got 1 combat phase here. Vernon has to, if he gets into TLT range, nail every TLT into that. Vernon doesn't have that many mods that I'm aware of.
No, he doesn't have
Well, no, he'll have a title on second shot,
Shots, yes.
and he will be faced up.
his logical thing is hoping that he gets an off so he can do a primary and then there's 2 TLTs. It's his best chance.
It's his best chance.
It's
But
not a thing.
the other thing is that,
But he doesn't have a reroll for him.
He doesn't have the,
He doesn't have that for the primaries, no.
Yes, no. Well, he's just going to have to gamble. Go for the 4 dice, because I think the 2 dice TLTs are
I know it doesn't matter, boys, but that's time, so finish it.
Time's
There's no
up.
rush now.
So it looks like John might have done the 3 straight slam.
Well,
Or
we,
2 bank, right?
I don't know. We won't talk about any more manoeuvres until their dials have started to be revealed.
I think he just goes 3 straight, 3
Yep,
roll,
double check.
and just stays there. He knows it's the last
But-
phase.
Look, we're just going to suddenly make quiet about this because time's ended. So there is no time pressure now. They're not trying to get in extra rounds. They know this is the last thing that happens. They know that whatever goes down is going to decide this game. So we're just going to have to wait and see what's revealed.
Doing the last dial check.
Yep, those guys are checking their dials so
my God.
carefully.
And
So it is as close can get here.
I mean, it's important because John's still in a strong position. He's got 4 hull on his
watch your back actor.
and you've got to be thinking he's going to focus to have mods. Whatever he
100%.
does, whatever he does. The issue is has he come in? I think, you know,
I mean, with the focus, 2 dice, with the dice, 2 dice focus, you actually have about a 40% chance of rolling after mods and double evade. Or 30% chance, sorry. It's relatively high. So the safe thing is here is
you know
if
what
he gets 2,
do you know
he's
what
safe.
Vernon,
But
do you know what Vernon does? If he does get in, he has to target lock and go for the fin.
well, yeah, and I'll be back in just a second.
But such a tight game.
You'd expect it to be tight at this end, but that's what you can do. If he goes in,
He's got about 8 focuses in his Ray Bank, so
Yeah, he's
There will
gonna
be a
target.
focus.
No, he's going to target him.
we'll have to see what is 7 banked. You know what I was saying about 3 earlier? Vernon likes to take things to the next level. What would be your ultimate, if you had to work out how many rays you need to bank in a list like this, what would you target for to then get engaged? Like, if you could slow roll until you've engaged? I don't know. You got knowledge of the
As
game.
many as I want.
As many as you want. Okay, that's interesting. But
Very dependent on the list.
that does not exist.
No, I think what Tim's asking is, when do you
How
think you've
many
got a
do
safe package of
when do you
dice?
start using them? When do you start
when you
going,
start-
I'm not going to
Probably
spend my
three.
focus?
Probably 3,
Right,
maybe 4.
Exactly. Once I've got 3 in, I'll
Especially
start
if you're
spending.
expecting to engage and possibly fly back out.
3 good range of round. That gives you 3 rounds of extra focus engagement, and then you get out of there. So that's where I sit with it. I was just curious on what other people thought.
What do you think John's doing with his...
We finished time here, so they're just playing this last round. So
Has everyone given their... You have to refresh it to double check. I think dudes need to be third. You just go to the limit on this. No, right around. Oh no. What?
No.
Oh,
This
it's
is
not logged in.
What rounds?
Oh, you've been locked out. Right, top right. This is login.
okay. So look, we're still thinking about maneuvers here. These guys are now going to be first, second, third, fourth, fifth guessing themselves. But you know what? There's no pressure of trying to fit in another round, so these guys can think as much as they want.
Rounds.
Now you're in the admin account.
Click use.
Is it time?
Click use.
Score.
No. Just above. See the blue.
Just above.
Yeah, click it and then click the
Green save.
the green save. So this is interesting, actor. I don't know if I've seen such a long and deliberate planning phase in a long time.
Someone called Charge on this. Here we go. Alright.
Here we go.
Just going with the active
Interesting.
suggestion.
Go for the slam.
That's a 2.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
He's focusing up, or is he going to go for the slam?
I've been making moves.
This is where he's now going to have a thought. Do I do the 2 straight? Now, because he's done the 2,
I reckon he's bumped there. So what you've got is a case of Kanan has to, if he goes
Shane does a 1 straight.
slam 2 forwards or slam 2 back in.
I think the angles are
Slam 2 forwards. Because
I think
I think if you slam 2 bank in, you give him too much room for him to go 3 bank over.
Yeah.
So I think a slam 2 forwards blocks off the 3 bank. I think all the
The only
straights.
thing he's got to pray for is if he does slam in, that Vernon hasn't done the 5. No, the 5 straight.
Can't go 5 straight there. Vernon got K's. So
No, they've only got 4. So actually, it goes. It goes.
Yes, John's on 28, and so
he's
Vernon
trying
kills
to
the boat.
ships alone.
This
Vernon
goes.
kills the boat, Vernon wins.
This goes back to the. Has Vernon died on his trade and predicted the night potential? Oh no, he's gone for the 2.
that's ballsy.
What's Vernon done? Oh, this is massive. Oh my goodness, this is massive.
Range 1.
Range 1.
Target lock.
Target lock, and he will have Ray focus out.
Seen better than that before.
And he's going to
Look,
He's
I mean,
gonna
we're still
have Finn
talking.
as well.
He's got Finn and he's got his reroll, so he's now rolling 6 into 2.
6
He needs
for the
4
10.
damage.
With focus and time.
If he gets
he's
6,
probably got it.
he's done.
and he's taking the shuttle out to get an extra shot as well. That's a perfect move.
That
Perfect
is.
move, because he's going to get an extra shot with the shuttle on the thing. That is a brilliant move.
That said, is that shuttle has just K'd, so it's unmodified. It's still 3 dice though.
Kylo could kill the shuttle. Does that not put him in? That does not put him in.
Not reliable.
He has to kill the.
50. Well, shuttle's only worth 18, so
Yeah,
even if
that's
Kylo
still
kills the
shit.
shuttle, he has to kill the sheath bead, which he cannot do.
Well, he can.
He's not direct hit for days, but
You would have to get to range 1 and then
direct hit.
multiple direct hits.
Ezra just took advantage of.
No, it needed to be crit. It was
Oh,
only
sorry, yeah,
it was only
yeah.
hit. It was only hit.
So it's like James trying to
That's 2 forwards.
We were sitting there.
These guys know what's happened now. They're just
It
waiting.
looks like I'm pretty sure Vernon just won the game.
Well, the other option is that Kylo comes in, Hail Marys a
Boost 1 for
blinded, blinded into the but
Into Kanan.
into Kanan, but
What's the crit? What's the crit that you put into Kanan?
There's no crit on Kanan.
Yes,
No,
there
it's
is.
the
Oh.
dark side. What's the
That
dark
looks like a blinded
Oh,
pilot.
it's blinded probably. That would be hilarious. That he could do that actually.
okay,
Was it blinded?
blinded. So currently the crit on Kylo, which I'm pretty sure is also on Kanan, is a blinded pilot.
So he has to go for the crit.
So if he gets this crit through, and we're rolling
3.
So
3 into 1.
we're waiting just to see what the range is like.
he will get a roll.
My guess,
Be range 3.
he wants to be range 3, but my guess is at range 2.
Range 3.
Range 3, oh.
He's going to use his countermeasures.
Well,
He's going to take
He's
the
going
target off.
using countermeasures,
is
takes
that
off the
in
target lock.
opportunity?
No.
No, it was at start of combat.
3 now.
Oh, I'm not going to get involved in that, Rob. That's up to you. No, they've agreed on it.
No. I stuck my head out just as you said that.
Game.
Vernon did ask.
Oh, but Natty evaded that.
Arsenal was John that
As
asked.
soon
John pulled the measure. Vernon put his hand up. So
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. They were.
This is big. This is big. This is big.
Yeah, if Vernon mentioned that, that would have been a different thing. Agreed.
Oh no, that
No, it doesn't matter because
that needs. What are they?
oh, okay. So we've got a hit, a crit, and a
Hit, crit.
Ooh.
focus.
He can leave.
John needs
Two.
2 pain to live.
He's obviously he's fine. Oh, that's game.
That was
Again.
very, very tight.
Oh, tight.
Rob, what are you doing? Fucking turn it off.
Very good.
So if you fill out both the numbers, it auto fills these. So it's 28.
Ring bearer number 5.
Ring bearer number 5. Thanks very much for watching, guys. We are going to sleep now. I am knackered. I hope you enjoyed it. Just make sure you like and subscribe. Let us know if there's anything better we can do. Thank you all very much. Good night.